เรียนนานาชาติบอมโกฟประเทศไทยมุ่งสู่ความเป็นเลิศด้านการศึกษาได้เข้ารอบสุดท้าย BSC International School of the Year 2022 Full New TV ขอพาท่านผู้ชมมารู้จักโรงเรียนนานาชาติแห่งหนึ่งในไทยที่การันตีเรื่องคุณภาพการศึกษากับโรงเรียนนานาชาติบอมโกฟประเทศไทยบริหารงานโดยครูใหญ่และประธานเจ้าหน้าที่บริหารโรงเรียนนานาชาติบอมโกฟดร.แดมัวล่าสุดกับความภาคภูมิใจของโรงเรียนบอมโกฟที่ได้รับรางวัลอันดับ 2 โรงเรียนนานาชาติแห่งปี International School of the Year 2022 จากสมาคมโรงเรียนประจำของสหราชอาณาจักร UK Boarding School Association BSA โดยในปีนี้โรงเรียนนานาชาติบอมโกฟกำลังฉลองครบรอบ 20 ปีในประเทศไทยโดยยังคงมุ่งมั่นในการมุ่งสู่ความเป็นเลิศไปด้วยกันเพื่อเป็นโรงเรียนประจำระบบอังกฤษชั้นนำในต่างประเทศนอกจากนี้โรงเรียนบอมโกฟประเทศไทยยังได้รับรางวัลชนะเลิศ National Association of Pastoral Care in Education NAPCE ซึ่งเป็นรางวัลระดับนานาชาติที่มอบให้แก่โรงเรียนที่ใส่ใจและดูแลสวัสดิภาพของนักเรียนทุกคนอย่างยอดเยี่ยมที่ผ่านมาของโรงเรียนนานาชาติบอมโกฟประเทศไทยได้เปิดการเรียนการสอนมากว่า2 ทศวรรษและมีศิษย์เก่าที่มีความรู้ความสามารถกว่า500 คนในหลากหลายสาขาอาชีพไม่ว่าจะเป็นศิลปะวิทยาศาสตร์การแพทย์วิศวกรรมและคณิตศาสตร์และในปัจจุบันนี้โรงเรียนนานาชาติบอมโกฟประเทศไทยมีนักเรียนกว่า500 คนจาก30 ประเทศทั่วโลกและเราไปฟังดร.แดมัวครูใหญ่และประธานเจ้าหน้าที่บริหารโรงเรียนนานาชาติบอมโกฟประเทศไทยพูดถึงทิศทางในอนาคตเชิงธุรกิจของโรงเรียนนานาชาติบอมโกฟประเทศไทยกันเลยค่ะ
International School Thailand has been a member of the BSA, the Boarding Schools Association of the UK, for over 17 years since we opened our boarding houses on our campus in eastern Bangkok. The BSA sets very rigorous standards of what is expected of a boarding school overseas, which are identical to the standards that the schools in the UK follow. And our sister school, Bromsgrove School in Worcestershire in the United Kingdom, also are members and follow the same standards that they set in the UK that we have over here from the BSA. So the BSA have awards every year to recognise outstanding international schools across the world who follow the British curriculum and are members of the BSA. And Bromsgrove International School in Thailand entered that competition this year, and we put forward examples of our exceptional practice in our boarding houses, the pastoral care of our students, and the programs that we use to ensure that every student who lives with us in our boarding houses are developed academically and pastorally and socially to the very best levels that we can possibly have. And that is what the award recognised, that Bromsgrove International School Thailand is exceptional and outstanding in that provision for our boarding students. The COVID-19 pandemic caused very serious challenges for all schools, and international schools were no different. But for me as headmaster of Bromsgrove International School, Thailand, it wasn't necessarily about how we get through COVID financially, because we've always been very lucky to have a very robust financial plan for the school, which managed to see us through those difficult times in COVID. But for me as headmaster, the main focus has been how can we support our students, our parents and our teachers post-COVID, coming back to school, coming back into the school community for face-to-face learning, changing from online to hybrid and then to fully in classrooms back on campus. That has really been my main focus as a school leader. And the students have had a huge amount of pastoral support, emotional well-being support. We've had the use of our school counsellor and our pastoral leaders that have really worked with the teachers to ensure that the students remember those social skills that some of them have lost through the pandemic, being at home, on their own, in their rooms, online learning, and very much isolated from society. So that really has been the biggest challenge for me as headmaster and for my leaders in the school, is ensuring that the students make up any lost time academically, but also they make up for those gaps in their social skills and their interaction with their peers and the independence that they used to have, and the joy and the happiness that they used to have. And that has been a challenge, but I'm very proud of our community and what we have done to address this. And the parents have said to me a number of times now, they are back on campus dropping the students and picking up the students after school, have said to me how happy they are with the way that the school has supported their children and also them as families through this very challenging time. I think the COVID pandemic should be viewed as both a challenge and an opportunity, because many businesses, schools included, international schools in particular, have really looked at how they deliver their products, how they run the schools post-COVID and what happened before we had COVID. And I think there are opportunities to very much continue the online engagement in some ways. And I'm not talking about lessons, because students learn best when they're in the classroom, but the interaction with our parent community, for example, having our coffee mornings and our information sessions that always used to be held on campus, we are going to continue having a recording of those sessions and making that available online for our parents. And that is really important to make sure that as many parents as possible from our school community can access those sessions and are very much engaged with the school to support their child, in their education throughout the year. That's even more relevant for our overseas parents. And we have over 130 boarders in our boarding school, and those parents live overseas. 60 of those students' parents live in Thailand, out of province or in different parts of Bangkok. And they also very much need to know what's going on and be connected to the school. And online, through the pandemic, has made us change the way we do things as schools. And I think that we are going to continue some aspects of what we learned through the COVID pandemic into next academic year, even if the schools are open as normal, on-site learning, throughout the future. Also, I think it's important to reflect on what we offer and the quality of the education, because international schools in Thailand are only going to survive and grow if they are outstanding in all that they do. And the amount of international schools that are opening year on year in this city is quite amazing. And that brings with it incredible competition. And many other international schools offer very large discounts. And they want as many parents as possible to sign up for the school so they can show they have students in that school. So many of the new players in the market are offering quite substantial discounts off their fees. And this is causing many other international schools to lose their families and their students from their school because they're being offered discounts. But as a headmaster, I've always been very mindful of what that does to your school. And since I joined Bromsgrove 8 years ago, I have been very mindful of ensuring that as a school we only offer scholarships, discounts that are linked to outstanding performance, whether that is in music, whether that is in sport or golf, our singing, our choirs, and academics, those students who are academically very, very high and very, very able students have to sit very rigorous tests and entry requirements to get those academic scholarships. So we don't discount, and many parents when they come to Bromsgrove say, what discounts are you going to give me? And when I say as headmaster, oh, we don't give discount, they find that very, very strange. But we are growing as a result of parents in our community knowing we are a fair school, we are of incredible value for money, and the product that we deliver and the education that we give every child in our care is so good and very individualised, and the pastoral care on top of that is incredible, and the parents are very happy to know that everybody in the community is treated equally. So competition is going to get harder and harder, and only the very best schools are going to survive over the next 10 years, and Bromsgrove is one of those schools. When parents come to the school to visit Bromsgrove and they say, oh Dr. Moore, why should we consider putting our children in the boarding houses for their duration during school time, whether that's weekly boarding, so they come on Sunday and then they pick up their child on Friday, or whether they are full boarding, so they stay with us for all of the academic term and they go home in the holidays. And there's a very simple answer to that, because education doesn't just stop at the end of the normal school day. Those boarders who live with us on campus have a huge array of additional enrichment, whether that is additional academic support from the teachers and the academic staff in the school, or whether it is the pastoral care and their personal development, and them as young people learning those skills of independence and looking after others and being part of a community and learning to socialise and to live alongside people that may not be your favourite person, but you're still part of the community. And they are skills that we absolutely need as adults. So our parents who are working incredibly hard, running their own businesses, some of them travelling overseas, working for multinational companies, as travel has become back, they haven't the time to sit with their child, to do their homework with them, to support them after school, to talk about their personal lives and their emotions, and regulate their use of social media and electronic devices, which is one of the biggest things my parents talk to me about, how they can stop their child using technology. So we say to these parents, let us look after your children. And those parents who do choose the boarding option always say, thank you so much for my child developing so well under your care. And it's not about parents not being able to parent, it's about parents being busy and wanting us to help them parent. And that is why boarding has grown at Bromsgrove every year since we've opened. And boarding has become an incredibly big part of our school. And weekly boarding, where parents come on a Sunday and pick up their child on a Friday, but spend that quality time with them at the weekend, has doubled in size in the last 4 years. And remember, 2 of those years were during the pandemic. So I think that really does show how much boarding at Bromsgrove is popular and how much it is supported by our parents.